your hands together for the best damn sports show weekly.
Coming to the room on a Sunday afternoon. Nyo Weekly, lower in the boom. Step into the room on a Sunday afternoon, and it's Nyo Weekly, lower in the boom.
Make some noise for your host, Nico.
Lower in the boom.
Make some noise for the OG.
Lower in the boom.
950 Cav.
Lower in the boom.
And TJ Jones.
Lower in the boom. Step into the room on a Sunday afternoon, and it's Nyo Weekly, lower in the boom. Step into the room on a Sunday afternoon, and it's Nyo Weekly, lower in the boom.
What up, people? Welcome back. NYO Sports Weekly. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Give me 1 second while I try to set something up, though. Hold on. Did that work? No, it did not. What's up, people? Welcome back. NYO Sports Weekly. Give me 1 second. Trying to do something over here around these parts. Just waiting on the fellas. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Doing great. Sensational. Phenomenal. All that good stuff. We gotta talk, man. We gotta talk about the for one, gotta talk about the Hall of Fame. We're gonna be in it next year. Why this ain't working? Hold on, good people. No, let's go back. Hold up. But yeah, people, we're gonna talk about the Hall of Fame. I do believe now that Antonio Gates and what's my man name? Antonio Gates and LaDainian Tomlinson are in. I think Phillip Rivers got to get in. How you not gonna add the quarterback, of the trio? Now, OG may disagree, but that's just what I think, and we're gonna have that discussion as soon as he get in here. But that's just what I think. I think you can't have one without the other. You can't have the first two without the other. That's just my opinion. But let me know down below. Will Phillip Rivers get in the NFL draft next year? I believe he will. I believe without a shadow of a doubt, he has to. He has to. You just put Antonio Gates in there and LaDainian Tomlinson. I think he has to get in there. No way around it. No way around it. So let me know below what y'all think, and we'll have the discussion. I know they say Drew Brees is up for it. Drew Brees. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. 1 second. Drew Brees, Jason Witten. I think those are, without a doubt. Okay, so the list is Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Jason Witten, Frank Gore, Julian Edelman, Greg Olsen, LaShawn McCoy, Dez Bryant, Marquise Pouncey, Phillip Rivers, Steven Gronkowski, kicker for the Patriots, Geno Atkins. I think without a shadow of a doubt, the first four get in. I think Larry, Drew, Jason Witten, and Frank Gore get in. OG may disagree. because we had this conversation already. But that's just my viewpoint. That's just what I think. Now, I could be wrong. I could be, but we're gonna see. So, like I said, let me know down below what y'all think. And you know what? I may make a post out of this. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on all the social media platforms. But yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. I think that's for sure what's gonna happen. Uh, and I think hold on, guys. Damn, come on, y'all. There we go. But yeah, I think without a shadow of a doubt, he's gonna get in. He's gonna get in. Um, you know, the tight end I threw to, it's like we similar to like Peyton Manning and Dallas Clark. Yes, I'm not saying they're the same, but I'm just saying can't have one without the other. Apologies, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, I do believe that can't have one without the other. You can't have him in there without his quarterback. That's just my standpoint. Let me know what y'all think. Also, in La La Land, Luca, they have signed him for the future. Um, I think it was something that was going to be done anyway, but they just made it, officially official, and I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be all right. So let me know what y'all think. In the NFL, Sterling, Sterling and Shannon Sharp and Sterling Sharp. I want to say are the first two brothers to make it to the NFL Hall of Fame. I don't know about all the other leagues. I'm sure it's been more than one. Um, but yeah, two brothers, man. Both from the Chi, both born in the Chi, but raised in Georgia. Um, so that's big time right there, man. It's good. It's good. A big deal. Shannon, had a great, a pretty solid career, very solid career to be an undersized tight end. His brother Sterling, his career was cut short due to injury. So yeah, that's another one. So we're gonna see. What's up, Nay? How you doing? Um, it's a good deal, man. Two brothers to make it to the Hall of Fame. One's career was cut short think he had like a neck injury, and the doctor told him like, if you play again or if you play another snap, you could be paralyzed or something like that. So, hey, life changing situation. You gotta do what you gotta do. But I think as far as I think as far as oh oh share that. But yeah, man, that's just what I think about it. Uh, it's big. Hopefully, a couple of these hopefully my Bears can do something and put somebody in the Hall of Fame from this current regime or these last couple regimes. Um, I think the Bears gonna be all right. I think we're gonna be good. I say 9-8, 10-7. If you think better or worse, let me know in the chat. Uh, I think the Bears gonna be solid. I think, like I say, 9-8, 10-7. Jude, what's up, my guy? How you doing, man? I think we're gonna have a tough road. You still got a rookie head coach. First time ever doing this from a head coach perspective. Caleb is still learning the offense. You got some weapons though. Luther Burden, Rome, DJ, Colston Loveland, which is I think he's just a bigger receiver. They got him as tight end, but he's gonna be a weapon for sure. Then you got Cole, and then you still got Swift. People can say what they want about Swift, but if he get around that corner, it could be six easy. Um, then you still got Roshan. I think he hasn't been dealt a great hand. I think he's gonna finally get his shot, and I think this offense, I think they'll be good. I think it's still to be a learning curve because the head coach is still a rookie, first time, but he does have a lot of experience, which I think will help him. And when I say experience, I mean around him. You got Eric Bieniemy, you got Dennis Allen, just to name a few. Um, I think they should be okay though, as far as just being that a solid team. I think this year compared to last year, they're not gonna make the same mistakes. And they're not gonna make the same mistakes, and I think they're gonna be straight. They're gonna they're gonna be all right. I think they're gonna be better than what people are giving them credit for. Um, but I think that conference, that NFC North is gonna be brutal. Um, really, Detroit is returning just about every player, outside of their coaching staff, so they're gonna look different. I know a lot of people saying they still can win, 10 plus games, but I'm like, when you lose the OC, the DC, quarterback coach, receivers coach, you lost a lot. And they're gonna look a lot different. I think Green Bay, a lot of their success is gonna depend on Jordan Love. Can he stay healthy? How does that defense look? Can those receivers stay healthy? Because it seems like every year, somebody's getting hurt, whether it's Dobbs or Watkins or um, Dontavius Wicks. They should really their number one receiver is Kraft, the tight end. He's about the healthiest one, so that's gonna be something. And then, hey, Erica, you're 100% right. Don't let him hear me say that. But I just think they're gonna struggle. You can say what you want. You're gonna struggle. It's no doubt about it. when you lose that many on your coaching staff, you're gonna struggle. And I think, and I honestly feel that I feel Minnesota. Minnesota, they got a rookie. Yeah, he been sitting there for a year, but he's still a rookie. No matter how you look at it, you still have never took snaps from under center in the NFL. So it's gonna be a learning curve for him as well. So we're gonna see. We shall see how this goes. But that's just my thought process. I think, to be honest, I don't know how this division is gonna pan out. But I can definitely see that division being so close to where shoot, you know, whoever don't make the playoffs gonna feel like the year is a failure. I can definitely see that for sure. Because I think all four of those teams are gonna be competitive. That division, they're gonna beat each other up. That shoot, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But I think as far as my Bears, I could say, like I say, I see them 9-8. 9-8. I think it's gonna be ups and downs throughout the year, and Ben Johnson still gonna make mistakes. He's human. Caleb gonna make mistakes. He's human. But I think as far as the discipline, that's gonna be big. I think the discipline is gonna be big, and I think they're not gonna make those same mistakes they did last year. They not. I don't think they're gonna have those same bonehead plays. I think they're gonna understand time management, clock management. Um, they're gonna make sure we're focused on, no matter if it's the second to last play or the last play, just lock in on these last two plays and you win the game. I think, Ben Johnson saw it from afar. He saw what it was, and he's come in and he's coaching. You know, he's coaching them hard. The players, seem to, this is exactly what they were looking for, and it's gonna work out. I think they're gonna be all right. We're gonna be solid. Gonna be solid next year. But yeah, I think we're gonna be solid. I can't wait for talk to some of these Vikings. Like Tom, or we had a Detroit fan in the room the other day. He was a little delusional, but I digress. And even the Packer fans. I think if you take the fandom out, how good can your team really be? And all them teams got issues. Injuries with Green Bay, rookie quarterback with Minnesota, new coaching staff in Chicago, and a new OC, DC, and a lot of those healthy players coming back. And in Detroit, Aiden Hutchinson, he I, I'm interested to see what he looked like post leg injury. I'm interested to see what she really that whole defense, because they I think they lost about 5, 6 starters last season during the season. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We shall see how this looks. But I do believe the Bears will be a lot better. I think they got a tough schedule. I know we play like I think the whole AFC North. Um, that's Cleveland and Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Cincinnati. That's gonna be tough. You play Dallas. They were plagued with a lot of injuries. Shoot, first two games of the year, we got division. You got Minnesota, and then you got the Lions. It's gonna be tough. And we play San Fran late in the season. They always are, you know, with Shanahan. They always a physical team. You know, I remember last year they didn't have nothing to play for, but they still played Detroit tough that Monday night game. I think Detroit was just playing for seeding at that time. But you know, hey, the the um the Niners gave them a game. They were still playing, and I want to say the game was closer than what it should have been. But yeah, man, it was a good game. I think I think I just think overall the Bears will be different. The Bears will be different. I think we'll be a lot better than what we were last year. We were very undisciplined. We were very it's all over the place. And the season reflected that. You know, you started off, I think I think if they would have beat the Commanders, it would have been what, 4-3, 5-2 at that time. And then shoot, I forget we played the Eagles. Like we played the Eagles this year, play Washington again in Washington. You know, that game really really set the season up. I think after that, I don't think they won another game until they beat Green Bay. We were in a lot of games, Green Bay the first time in Soldier Field. Last second field goal block. Minnesota came back late, took them to overtime. Couldn't get on off the field on like 3rd and 15. In the you know, in overtime. They go down and win. Um shoot, we should have beat New England. Didn't happen. Arizona ran us off the field. Uh, man, the stream been a little glitchy, but we make it work with what we can. So, yeah, guys, just coming in, giving my thoughts. The Sharps, first brother duo in the NFL Hall of Fame. Think Phillip Rivers gonna make it next year. It's only obvious. Um, the Luca era in LA has begun. Wonder what they're gonna do with LeBron. I know a lot of Lakers fans want him gone. The Laker fans from California. I don't know about the other ones. That's outside of California. But yeah, it's gonna be good. All right. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.